Hello friends and welcome to the Patron show for August 2019. That's right, time continues to march forward and make fools of us all. It's the latter half of the 2019 and we're almost in Game of the Year season. Well, not quite. Perhaps even more worth acknowledging is the fact that this is the final Patron show of the third year of NoClip being around. We were founded on September 12th, 2016. We'll get more into that later on in the show. This is a really big show. We have a lot to talk about. All of the stuff, if you're a long-term patron, that I've been sort of talking about, alluding to for the past few months. Big changes, big exciting stuff. I'm about to talk about all of that, and also what I've been doing for the past few weeks, our Hitman docs and all that sort of stuff. So let's get right into it. First of all, massive thank you to all of our new patrons who signed up this month. Many of you watched our YouTube video and answered the call and contributed to our funding, which is a part of the reason we're able to do a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be announcing today. So thank you so much to all of our patrons who upped their pledges as well. That was a massive part of it, actually. Thank you very much to all of our new patrons and to everyone who retweeted it and sort of shouted our praises and stuff. It meant a lot. I spent most of this month in Ireland. I spent 22 days back home, which is the longest I've ever visited in the, I don't know, like 10 years I guess it's been, maybe 11 since I moved away, when I originally moved to England and then over here. But it was really cool. I got to, spend time with my family. My daughter just turned a year old, so she got to hang out with her aunt and uncle and aunts and uncles and cousins and her grandparents as well. So it was really special. It was also a kind of a use case for what it would be like to work away from the studio, and it was great. I published most of the Hitman docs, I feel like, from there, and also our funding video, that was all operated from there. Massive shout to Frank Howley in San Diego, of course our community producer, who also did a bunch of work on that sort of stuff when I was stuck in parts of Ireland that had no internet. I keep forgetting, or like had bad internet. I keep forgetting that that's like a whole thing. My accent came back in as well. I'm probably dulling it down for this video though. I think I might try to stop doing that, I don't know. But it was great. I had a bunch of fun. I think I put on like about 10 pounds around my waist from drinking cider and beer and feckin' bread. I've never eaten so much. I forgot that bread, or at least some sort of starch, is in every meal back home. So I had a bunch of that and hung out with all my buddies. Dennis from A Tournament of Lies, we hung out a bunch, and even Alexis, if you're a Giant Bomb fan, Alexis, who built the old Giant Bomb, him and his wife came out as well, stayed for a couple of days while we were back home in Waterford. So it was really good. It was really good to get away from work as well, especially because I've been thinking about the future of NoClip. As you know, if you're a new patron, you've probably not heard this diatribe yet. I've been thinking about this and trying to plan what the future of NoClip would be for frogs everywhere outside. Sorry, I haven't seen a frog in weeks. For months and months, and I finally have it. Well, I don't finally have it. I had it months ago, but I'm finally able to tell you about it. So let's just get into it. First, before I do that, thank you so much to everyone who watched the Hitman docs. They seem to go down really well. We do have some additional videos. People are asking about extended cuts and stuff. I'm gonna take a look at it. I'm not sure if there's really that much more. There was one or two interviews we produced very little from, which there might be some more cool stuff in. But thanks so much. It was a really successful series. A bunch of people watched it and it seemed to go down well. And we turned it over in like, I think 3 weeks in total, including filming. So I'm really proud of that. But anyway, enough of the past and into our exciting future. So if you're a long-suffering patron, you know that I've been talking about the future of NoClip and what I wanted it to be. I've been planning, I've been reading a lot of books, I've been talking to people, I've been flying around and having meetings and basically exploring every sort of avenue for what the future of NoClip could be. Including going down like routes that I didn't necessarily want to go down, just to explore. So I've done like so much work in the background, building business plans and doing numbers and talking to people about deals and all this sort of stuff, to really sort of just figure out what the 5-year plan of NoClip is for me and my family and everything, and pick a direction and really dive into it. And I needed to do this for a long time because NoClip, as you know, especially the folks who've been around since the start, It's a lot of things to me. It's my business in one way, it's my passion. It also has a massive effect on my personal life, be it my mental health well-being, my family, you know, it's kind of an all-encompassing thing. And it's something that I want to work on. Like, I don't want to stop doing this. Like, I really love what we're doing here. And if I was doing this in 20 years, that, like, sure, that would be cool. Who knows? But, you know, things change. But like, I'm in this for the long run, right? So I'm quite intentional about trying to make this work for me in every respect, and work for the patrons, and work for my family, and work for everything in that way. And another side of this was looking at just like the videos we've produced, the work we've produced, and the stuff that we've done that has been popular, the stuff that we've done that has been like important, maybe less popular, but kind of important. And then a large part of looking at the stuff that we've not been doing, or stuff that we've been doing poorly. Especially stuff that I like doing that I don't have time for, or I don't have the resources for, or stuff that you have been asking me since day one, in some cases, that we've never actually really delivered on. So I've been doing all of this exploration and even looking at stuff like, what if we did like paid work and we use that to fund here, the YouTube advertising stuff, doing pre-roll, like that whole thing. You know, not doing like what would it look like if we did paid work on NoClip? That was basically a non-starter from the start, but like I was just like enjoying taking hands off and just kind of exploring every option and just seeing what was out there, because you never know, if you explore an option that you obviously don't want to do, what you might figure out by doing that. And what I ended up figuring out was that the vision we had at the start was basically exactly what I kind of wanted to do. Just the way that I executed at the start, I found really difficult, which is why we ended up sort of, we moved across the country, and we did it more on these like intense filming periods with big breaks in between that I would sit here and edit, basically. And that the funding model I was really happy with. Like I like being ad free. I love our the crowdfunding sort of as our main and only way of getting funded, except for merch. But like, you know, we're not doing paid work or any of that sort of stuff. We're not taking kickbacks, none of that. Like all that stuff is like integral and important to me, and it's why I do this work, and it's what gives me the energy to do the work on the really long days. Is like, this feels right and it feels good. The thing that I miss more than anything else, I feel like we've fallen short on, which is why you've seen so much investment in it, is community, and really like giving people a sort of an interesting, I don't want to say brand, like an interesting like team, like a story for people to be around, to interact with us on. And we've like so much fun on the NoClip Discord, and you know, people on Twitter, and having, you know, interesting fun in the comments and all that sort of stuff, and in the Patron videos. I feel like the Q&As and in the comments, like we all know those names and that sort of stuff, but we don't really have like a central thing to I don't know, to all come around, like a campfire or anything. And then the flip side of that as well, sorry if I'm rambling, I actually just want to like give you the whole sort of perspective on this. And the flip side to that, of course, is then I was always very reticent about putting a lot of that stuff on the main channel. You know, we don't want to put up all this, you know, community stuff on the main channel or whatever, and it'll flood it and all that. So this is sort of the maelstrom of the idea space I've been caught up in, and I have it. I have what we're gonna do. I have the direction we're going in. I mightn't have the end point, but I have the direction we're going in. And I guess I want to share that with you, because it's all going to get a little bit weird in the next month. So I guess this is what's happening next month. All right, so basically NoClip the way it was 2 years ago was awesome. In those 2 years, I've gotten way better at planning. I've gotten way better at budgeting, and we've also got a way bigger community of people who know who we are. We've developers all around the world who know who we are, and we have a good cred within the industry, and we have people who want to help us out, and people who want to come on and be interviewed and all that sort of stuff. So Maryland kind of doesn't really work anymore. It also doesn't work for family reasons for us as well. We've had a kid. We kind of came out here to have our kid and then figure out where we wanted to be in the world. So we're leaving Maryland. The place we're going is also part of that personal sort of journey, and also integral to the growth of NoClip. And it's not Ireland, because I know people probably think that. We're actually going back. We're going back to Oakland, where it all began in 2016, and like soon, like we're moving in the next month. Our lease on this place is up in September, and I'm really excited because I figured out sort of the things that we were strong at in the past that we got for free, and the ways in which being out here and working independently with Jeremy has strengthened us as well. And I think between that and the sort of wider community of support we now have, we're going to be able to do the thing that I always wanted to do, which was build that team and get that studio. So what's going to happen is, in a month's time, we're all moving back to Oakland. My wife's family are actually moved already. They're already there. So our whole family is kind of going there. My daughter, we're going to, look for, we were looking for a place to live and schools and doing all that sort of stuff. And she can be close to her grandparents and all that. So it's like going to be the first time we have a real like hub, like family hub in California, which means a lot. And then outside of that, Jeremy is going to be coming on basically like part-time. Like he's going to be doing way more hours for NoClip. He's going to be, I guess there's sort of like three main focuses we're going to do. One, the documentary productions are going to be far more collaborative, like kind of like they were at the start when we were doing Doom and Rocket League, and me and Jeremy could really knock our heads together about how to do this stuff. We've gotten pretty like perfunctory, I guess, is that the word, about how we've tackled docs, and they've kind of been a little bit cookie cutter since I came out to Maryland and we were working remotely. I've had more flavor in the edit. I've learned a lot about how to edit better from being here and being able to immerse myself in it, and that was the problem I had in Oakland. That won't happen this time because of where we're going to be living. I'll have a bit more space, and also we're going to look for that, get that studio. I'll get to that in a second. So he's going to be working a lot more with me, collaboratively, coming up with ideas for the docs, blocking them out, shooting them in way more interesting ways, and then he's also going to be editing. So like the sort of elephant in the room that's been the biggest problem we've had is getting the stuff out. Jeremy's going to be coming on board and cutting stuff for us as well, which is really cool. But perhaps maybe the two most exciting things that this sort of collaboration with Jeremy is going to, I guess, produce is, one, we're going to do a weekly podcast, but like an interview podcast. So myself and Jeremy are going to co-host it, and we're going to get people from the world of development, the world of the games press, people we've had on docs in the past, local folks in Oakland. There's a huge network of people involved in, from Frank Cifaldi and the Video Game History Foundation, and Mike over at Other Ocean, and people like Jim Crawford, and loads of people, Teresa Derringer, folks we've interviewed around the Bay. We're going to pull those people in. Big studios are going to pull them in. People on their media tours are going to pull them in, and it's going to be like an interview style podcast, but kind of like, I don't know, shooting the shit, just kind of like talking about work and about games, about film, and about music and psychedelics, and just kind of like having Jeremy's way, that's, if you don't know why that is, it just sounds like I'm making the like woke Joe Rogan podcast now or something, but it's more Jeremy's way into psychedelic research and all that sort of stuff. But it's combining our like loves of film and games and all that sort of stuff into like a community podcast where we're talking about what NoClip's doing and all of these concepts and stuff every single week. We're gonna aim to do it as a video and as a live stream eventually. I can't say exactly how that's gonna work out because we're still trying to figure out a lot of the I guess where we're going to be recording this. That's kind of the next step. But we're going to be doing that, a weekly podcast. It's either going to be weekly every week, or it's going to be 3 weeks, and then the fourth is for patrons only or something. We're sort of still figuring that sort of stuff out. The other thing, which is maybe, I don't know, for some of you, the most exciting part is the op-ed show. So the show I used to do, The Point, we did a version of that on NoClip called Bonus Level. I've never been able to get it off the ground. I've lacked the resources. I've lacked somebody to help me film it. I've lacked somebody to help me be creative with it, to help me edit it, all that sort of stuff. We're bringing it back. I'm not sure if I'm going to call it Bonus Level still. I'm not sure. The Point was never... No one I previously worked for ever trademarked it. And I'm sure they wouldn't have cared anyway if I used it, but... I don't know what we're going to call it or what it's going to be, but it's going to be way more regular. And having Jeremy and the support to do that is going to free up the time and resources and give us the creative passion to really settle into that. We're also going to keep doing streams. Frank has been amazing at sort of unlocking our, I guess, ability or a way for us to do streams that actually really works. So we're going to do more of those as well, like community streams. So somebody on the Discord was talking about Extra Life. We might do that. It also might give us a way to, like, all this extra support is going to free me up to do stuff like maybe I might get back into Ocarina of Time. It actually is the first time I've thought maybe it might be possible, like all the old streaming shows I used to do, not all of them, but some of them. Yeah, so that's going to be the case. We obviously have the podcast YouTube channel, which is going to have the podcast on it. We're still figuring out what we'll do with the Twitch VODs. And then we're also thinking of maybe just using that podcast channel to do more, kind of like Corridor Digital do with their Corridor Crew channel, where they have a bunch of behind the scenes video stuff, which is more playful, but not the doc stuff. I think I might use the podcast channel for that as well. So we might rebrand that slightly and call it like No Clip Extra or No Clip whatever, or No Clip Crew or something like that. But all the podcasts are going to go there in audio form, probably like they have been maybe for a bit, and then eventually in video form. Yeah, so that's kind of the I don't know, the content strategy, as it were, over there. And then the sort of next thing, I guess, to help with all that is we're looking for a studio. I have a bunch of people in the East Bay in Oakland who are, you know, people within the games world who really like us and like what we've done and like what we do. And a lot of these people are helping us out with like getting space at like very, very, very reasonable rates. So a lot of that stuff is going to solidify in the next few weeks. It kind of depends on where my family ends up moving exactly. We're kind of have a couple of different spots where Jeremy lives, and then trying to figure out where exactly would work, like somewhere that's within cycling of me, or I can quickly drive or get parking or whatever, or something. And yeah, we're gonna set that up in a way so we can record stuff at it, studio, we can do interviews at it, that's the plan, we can do the podcast at it, all that sort of stuff. And that's gonna be like the first step. All this is gonna happen before the end of the year. Like most of it's gonna happen in October and November. We also have editing, filming projects still going on, but while all that's going on, I basically accrued like a sort of, I don't know, like an emergency break for emergency fund, which I'm going to be using for this, to give us like 4 months of just operating like this and see how it looks. The plan, basically, the idea behind it is by making the stuff that we really want to work on, like the podcast I've been dying to do, the point, bringing it back, the bonus level, dying to get that done. Having Jeremy as a collaborator again is going to mean the world to me. I've loved coming out here and working here for 2 years. I love, Maryland's been awesome. I love the weather. I love the crazy weather, frogs jumping around. I love Old Bay. I love the soggy summers. The people here are cool. It's been awesome being here, but our family has now left the sort of DMV area, and we see our future back in Northern California. And we, you know, Oakland has been like the only place that I've left that I really, really, really missed when I left, and my wife feels the same way. And thinking about where we want our kid to grow up is somewhere that we're excited about. And then just thinking about the future of NoClip, like being in that hub. Every time I'm there, I'm like, God, everything's here. Like we've access to so much. You know, I've been talking to Greg as well. Like I'm sure I'm gonna go over and hang out with the guys at Kind of Funny a bunch. I'll be able to be involved in the Hades stuff a lot more now because I'll be able to go to Supergiant with Jeremy and we can film more and do all that sort of stuff. Being involved in, you know, popping in a Giant Bomb more than I was. I'm actually going to be on the Bombcast next week. I guess Jeff is off on paternity at the moment. Living the life I was living about a year ago this year, playing Bloodborne with my little girl on my chest. But yeah, like being able to have those collaborations again and be close to those stories and just with I guess a business intellect I didn't have 3 years ago, where I thought that we were priced out. Thankfully, also like as crazy as the Bay Area rent and everything has gone, it's actually plateaued pretty heavily and it's kind of in a slump at the moment, especially in the Oakland areas that we're looking. And then also having that network of people who are willing to help us out, to support us, to be able to give us spaces and give us access to people and do all that sort of stuff. Like, it's a different sort of, it's a different Oakland we're going back to. Like, NoClip means something now, and people are really into it, and I've got a lot more, I'm able to squeeze more out of the orange than I ever was, and it was exciting when I realized that, and when I realized how much opportunity we had back there as well. So I'm fucking jazzed. I can't wait to get back. I'm gonna miss a lot about here, but I feel like the Bay is where we were meant to be. It's where NoClip can grow. It's where we can bring the podcast back, in a meaningful way, and not do it over Discord. Like, just have people in the room, and just build a fun community around what we're doing here. And sorry, I trailed a little bit there, but the idea behind this is to really like build our community, get all of you involved more, listening in every week, sending in your questions on the Discord, hanging out in the chat, in the live chat, get you involved more in the production of the doc and let you see how that stuff works, because a lot of the time there's loads I could share about editing, about like when we're producing stuff. We've the behind the scenes docs we've done for most of the docs up until now have been really like condensed, like 2 days, 3 days of filming about what we were doing. That's because I was like hiring Jeremy for those days, so we needed to like do it then. Our working relationship isn't going to work like that anymore. It's going to be a lot more expansive. He's going to be working like multiple days a week for NoClip, and yeah, we've also got some cool docs planned as well around that time. So it's going to be way more of a, I don't know, you're going to see a lot more of what we're doing in ways that like make sense, and in ways that are that are at a pace that we can do. It's not just me doing everything anymore, and that's really cool. So yeah, I'm sure you've got lots of questions about that. That's kind of the plan. We're going to do that for, we're going to be launching the podcast. The idea is I'm moving in October, late September, early October, and then we're going to really start getting that sort of stuff out. So kind of like we did at the start of NoClip, where we did the, what was this series? We did a series about setting up the business. We'll be doing all that sort of stuff, a lot more behind the scenes bits and bobs. We'll be changing the tiers a little bit as well. Most of them are staying the same. The podcast early access is going to we're either going to get rid of it. I think we're getting rid of it. It was either going to be shifted up to 10 or not. The $5 is going to get a lot more bits and bobs, because we're going to have a lot more behind the scenes stuff. And then the $20 tier, we're doing a whole thing. We're doing like, I finally figured out what's going in that for good, and it's really good. And it's been the most maligned tier of all of them. So when the new thing launches, we're going to launch with like months worth of them to make good on all the months we've not done. I don't want to say exactly what it is yet. It's something people have been asking for a long time, but that's going to come in as well. But yeah, that's kind of the grand picture of what's happening over the next month or so. But let me tell you like what we're actually doing next month. PAX is almost upon us, and NoClip is going to be there real big, actually, as it turns out. Our panel, first of all, it's on Sunday. It's on at 11:30 in the Hydra Theatre. We have Frank's going to be there. Jeremy's going to be there. We have Adam from Systemera coming on as a guest. We have Greg and Amir from Supergiant coming on as guests. We may have more guests as well. We're going to be talking about everything that's going on at NoClip, projects we have, and we're going to get a bunch of these developers up and interview them on the spot as well, and shoot the shit. And then we're also going to do Q&As and all that sort of stuff. So if you're a fan of us and you're at PAX, please come along. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to show off a bunch of stuff and have people on, and it'll be a good, entertaining hour. If you're not going to PAX, we are having it filmed as well, so it'll be up on the YouTube channel at some stage. Actually, it'll be a behind the scenes extra, so it'll be for patrons only. In the week following, we'll make sure it's up. The other panel you should make sure to go to is what I'm hosting. It is happening in the Raven Theatre Saturday at noon. It is the Supergiant Games' sort of 10th anniversary celebration. They're celebrating their birthday. We will be celebrating their birthday by making a bunch of documentaries, one about Bastion, one about Transistor, one about Pyre. Those will be going up in, we're going to be filming at the convention and then doing them after the fact. So that'll be coming in later down the line, probably once I've moved over in October. So yeah, if you're at PAX, there's that. And then also in Bandland, which I believe is on the top floor, at the top of the escalator. So it's not in one of the halls, it's sort of out and about. It's where a bunch of like the bands do their signatures and stuff. We have a table there, which we're gonna be selling no-clip stickers. We can't give them away because apparently if you give them away, people just stick them up everywhere. So, and then we get in trouble, and Seattle will never allow me back in the state. So we're gonna sell some of these stickers at our booth. We're also going to be trying to sign people up to Patron and talking about what we're doing and just meeting fans. So if you are there and you want to hang out and you want to come tell us about what doc you think we should make, or buy a sticker or become a patron, well, you're already a patron if you're watching this, then please come on over. We're myself and Frank are going to be manning the booth. Jeremy's going to be around for the weekend as well, so he'll be at the booth for a bit of it. Yeah, so by all means, please come along and say hey. That'd be super cool. We also have some other stuff filming this month. We have an interesting project in New York, which I can't really talk about quite yet, but we'll talk about it pretty soon afterwards. That's happening around the 10th and 11th of September. The 12th is our birthday. So Jeremy's flying over to help me film the New York thing, and then he's going to come down here to Maryland. We're sort of packing up the house at that stage because the truck will be coming to move all our stuff across the country again. Sorry, excuse me. So before we do that though, the 12th is our third birthday, so I thought it'd be awesome to do a live stream that day and celebrate what we've done and hang out with patrons and our community and all that sort of stuff. So on September 12th, on our Twitch and maybe even on our YouTube, I'm not really sure, we're going to be streaming all day, just shooting the shit and playing games, probably Doc's, Doom and Rocket League and playing all these games, Final Fantasy 14, who knows, and talking about what we're doing and answering your questions and just generally hanging out, celebrating everything. So yeah, make sure you come check that out as well. And then the following week, we're filming the longest project we've been working on, which is the Able Gamers. I filmed stuff with Esteban back last June or July, I think it was. And it's been one that we've been sort of trying to figure out the right times to do stuff at. Jeremy's going to be flying back again that week, the poor guy, and we're going to be filming in Pittsburgh at an event that they're putting on and doing some interviews with Steve and some of the folks involved there and some of the folks who use the equipment that they create as well and get access to games that way. So we're going to be producing that along with the old stuff and doing a sort of later this year, we're going to be doing a sort of a little mini series showing the work that they do. There's been some like reporting around what they are and all that sort of stuff, but this one's going to really like dive into specifics of like what they actually do, how they build controllers, Steve's story, what it's like actually, trying to get people to play games who've just sort of decided that they can't, but the way the outreach work that they do, really sort of looking into it. So that stuff's getting filmed this month as well. And then we have a couple of other things coming up later in the year, big ones and small ones that were a lot of stuff on the West Coast. Actually, we've been like a lot of stuff we were like priming. I was like, just give us a couple of months and we'll go do that thing, which is good. But apart from that sort of stuff, we have a lot of stuff to edit. So I'm glad to have Jeremy on board to help us get some of that GDC stuff out, and a bunch of other bits and bobs as well. So yeah, next month's gonna be busy. We've filming in New York, filming in Pittsburgh. We've PAX in Seattle. And then aside from that, it's moving shop and the stream, of course, and then moving everything from the East Coast back to the West Coast. So yeah, hopefully if I wasn't gray now, looks kind of yellow with this lighting. I definitely will be in a month's time. Yeah, so that's basically it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. I expect my voice will be gone by this time next week. Hopefully not this time next week, actually, because there's still 3 days of PAX left. Certainly by Tuesday week, I will have lost my voice from chatting the ear off of people in Seattle, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm half thinking of just driving up because the flights are pretty expensive from Oakland to Seattle. It costs a little bit less to rent a car, so I was thinking I might just like take it off and just think about stuff and listen to the new Taylor Swift album and enjoy some. I've never been to Oregon before, so maybe I'll just go through Bend and say good job on Days Gone and keep going, and go to Portland and say hi to who's in Portland. Mary Kish is more. Say hi to Mary. Say hi to. Are Don't Not there? No, they're not there. I don't know. yeah, and move on up. We'll see. We'll have to. There's a lot of stuff to be done. A lot of stuff to do. We were thinking about selling merch at the PAX thing, but it was just going to take way too much time and cost too much. And you know, you can buy them probably for cheaper on the store anyway. And then what else was there? I have to get a television. I have to figure out how to get a television. If you live in Seattle, by the way, and you have a television and you want, you know, some money and for someone to rent it, I'm sure you've just been dying for someone to ask, and you're watching this, please let us know, because that might actually help me out. I'm trying to figure out some other stuff, but yeah, if you want, that'd be super helpful. In fact, if you genuinely just want to help with the booth maybe, and you live in Seattle, you're going to PAX, let us know as well, because we could probably use some help around there too. This would all be paid, of course. We'll pay for your tally, we'll pay if you want to help us out. Yeah, let us know, because I feel like I'm probably underprepared for PAX. Taking a 22 vacation a week beforehand was maybe not the best idea. And then having to go to California next week to do a bunch of other stuff. Basically just like trying to help with the move. I'm bringing Hero as well, one of the cats, over, so it made sense to do it on the way to Seattle, since I was going to be there anyway. But yeah, it's really exciting. I feel really good. I had a great time in Ireland. I feel super excited about what's happening. I'm so glad to be able to tell people finally. And I'm really excited for what's going to happen. Think about it. By the end of this year, we might think about it. By the end of this year, like in my mind's eye, I can just imagine that it's me and Jeremy in a studio, shooting an episode of my op-ed show, you know, editing stuff, hanging out, talking to everyone on the Discord. Maybe we have enough money to hire someone else as well to help out. You know, a big part of this is trying to build that community and maybe get some more patrons through the door and get us to the next level. But like even if it's what we're at now, like I couldn't be more grateful and more satisfied with my professional life and my personal life. So, you know, being able to go to Ireland, this is a long episode, so I'll leave it at this. When I first moved to America, I was pretty good always at like getting by on a pretty shoestring budget. When I lived in England, I was earning half nothing for a long time, and kind of always made it work, and always had a little bit of money so I could fly home in case anything happened. And sometimes there was a death in the family, or you're just lonely or whatever, and I'd always have that little bit of a kitty to get back. And when I first moved to America, I really struggled to like put aside enough money for the ticket home. And then in America, you don't get much vacation days. If you're an American watching this, you know that all too well. As a European, it was pretty jarring to sort of to settle into that new reality. I love all the national holidays, so that's pretty handy. So being able to like take that much time off and do some work, but like, you know, mostly spend time off with family, was like incredibly meaningful to me, especially having, you know, my kid be able to spend that long at home and hang out with her nana and granddad and all her nephews and her cousins and auntie and uncle. It really meant the world to me. So really thank you. And being able to actualize this plan that I've been trying to figure out how to pull off for so long, and to actually see the numbers and see, oh, this actually works now. We can do this. Means the world too. So really, it's been an amazing 3 years. It's been the fastest and shortest 3 years of my life. It's been the most enjoyable by a mile. Even the hard times have been hard times that I'm in control of, and that means a massive difference. So a huge thank you to everyone who supported us, whether you're a new patron who just joined up or you're part of the massive crew of folks who have been with us since the start. We're going to figure out a way of doing something special for you guys when we're settled up on East Coast, because like I'm so grateful, and more than anything, I hope that we have made good. We have done work that you are proud of, or that you were entertained by, or you felt was good to make, was important. You know, I was doing a list of all the docs we've made, from, you know, stuff like Doom and Rocket League, which I've mentioned a bunch already today, Spelunky and The Witness, and then doing Final Fantasy, and then our big Witcher thing, and then like stuff like Warframe, the Bethesda stuff, which is our most watched ever, most criticized and most watched, which I'm super proud of, you know, all the stuff we did, the profiles on John Romero and Brendan, all the Irish people or people associated with Ireland. Just so much stuff that I'm proud of, you know, Astroneer, this year with Astroneer and Telltale and doing the Mortal Kombat little bits, just learning how to make stuff fast. And Hades has just been like a dream project. Everything we've done, you know, has been a learning experience and been professionally satisfying. And I hope as a viewer it's been satisfying too. And it feels good to sort of close out our 3rd year and be like, cool, we did some work. We did some really good work. We figured out, you know, how our gear ratio is. Now it's time to like really get into 6th and hum and not kill ourselves. I've learned how to take it easy and how to make the best work by taking it easy. And now we're just going to do that, but with more cylinders. There's lots of motor terminology happening here, so I think that means that I'm getting tired and I should stop doing this. Thank you so much. I hope this wasn't too rambly. It was a lot to talk about. I hope you're excited, or you know, maybe not as excited, but like don't feel bad if you're not as excited as me. But I hope you're as excited as me about the future of NoClip, and I hope you're proud of your funding here, as you should be. We're really trying hard to make good on everything, all the trust and support and money you've given us. So thank you so much. I hope wherever you are, you're having a nice summer or winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, as I said in the video. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're, you know, enjoying work, enjoying family, at least enjoying one of them, taking care of yourselves. Yeah, and I hope if you're in Seattle, you come over and say hey to us and get a sticker, or come to our panel and say hey to some of the folks we've interviewed and hang out. Yeah, if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please, I'm dying to hear them, finally. Please put them in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you next time. The next Patreon show should be interesting. I don't know where we're going to film it. Maybe here, maybe in California, maybe in New York, maybe in Pittsburgh, maybe in Seattle. Who knows? But yeah, put your thoughts in the comments below, and I look forward to chatting to you there. And keep this to yourselves for the moment. We're going to start to talk about it a little bit more. I'll probably spill the beans on the Bombcast next week or something. But yeah. All right, that's it. Peace out. Good luck. Cheers. Sláinte.